The Atlanta Braves have made a big point about drafting and developing starting pitching, and it's about to pay off in a big way. I'm going to tell you why on today's episode of Locked On Braves. So let's get into it.
You are Locked On Braves, your daily Atlanta Braves podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, and welcome back to Locked On Braves, part of Locked On Sports Atlanta, where we cover your favorite Atlanta sports teams each and every day. I am Jake Mastriani, your host of Locked On Braves. Make sure you follow me on social media at Shortstop Ball. Follow the podcast there at LockedOn_Braves. Make sure that you subscribe on YouTube if you're new. Hit that thumbs up button. And if you're listening on the audio version, I appreciate your support as well. Make sure you leave me a 5-star review on Apple, Spotify, wherever it is that you get your podcast. Thank you so much for all your support here of the show at Locked On Braves. Make sure if you're an everydayer, let me know down in the comment section below. Just like Brandon Dukes, let me know to begin this podcast for somebody that is here live. I really appreciate that. We also have Patrick Roser in here. Love above all. Brennan Gandy, Matt Karcher, Doc's Cards, and everydayer. I know Andrew Hunter on drums also with me here live on today's podcast, where we're going to talk about Monday's, I don't even know what to call it at this point, but it was a disappointing performance, to say the least. We'll talk about Charlie Morton and his struggles on the mound, offense showing up late, the new look lineup, what that looks like without Ron Acuna Jr., but it is technically our Minors Monday podcast, so I want to get into, obviously, the minor league side of things, and I really want to focus on just the pitching factory that the Braves have built right now and why I think that's going to pay huge dividends for them down the road. So we'll discuss that on today's podcast. But again, a lot to get into. Monday's game, just not a good one for the Atlanta Braves. I think that's putting it lightly. And happy Memorial Day to all of you out there, those who have lost loved ones fighting for our country. A special prayer for you and your family today. But if you are, enjoying your Memorial Day, you're sitting down, you're getting ready for the Braves game, it was over before it even started. 4 runs in the first inning, you fall behind. And look, while I am confident in this offense going forward, I'm going to continue to say that until it finally happens. You just can't give up 4 runs in the first inning. You just can't right now. Some really interesting comments from Charlie Morton. I know Zach Cox in the comments saying that he is officially worried about Charlie Morton. It's kind of what I've been talking about, and I want to get into it more in a second, but I just don't know who Charlie Morton is at this point. What type of pitcher he wants to be, what type of pitcher he can be. And his comments after the game were kind of along that line, and I really want to get into that on today's episode. But again, an 8-4 loss, it felt much worse than that. Kind of similar to the Pirates game last Saturday, where the Braves showed a little bit of life late in the game, where the decision was already decided. Basically, at that point, the game had already been decided, and that's fine with me. And I had just tweeted out, I understand losing. That's baseball. It's going to happen sometimes, but when you're just getting embarrassed and there seems to be no fight by the offense, that's even harder to swallow. And then the offense showed up and scored 4 runs to make it look a little better. And look, it does. It makes it feel a little bit better, in my mind, at least, for the offense to at least show something in the final innings. But again, you just can't give up a 4 spot. I mean, that's just the day after you lose Acuna. Vibes probably aren't that great, but you are getting Riley and Austin Riley and Sean Murphy back. But then you give up a 4 spot in the top of the first, and it takes any type of momentum that maybe you were looking for out of it, just like that. And for Charlie Morton now, I mean, it's 3 straight starts of this where, again, he's just kind of fighting his way through it. And it feels to me more like the 2022, 2023 versions of Charlie Morton, where he can be okay, but there's just these 1 or 2 innings that he has during an outing where things just get away from him. And it wasn't necessarily the walks in this one. He did walk 2 batters, but he gave up 12 hits. Just gave up a ton of hits, and he got 7 strikeouts. I mean, he got the strikeouts too. It was a really odd performance for Charlie Morton overall. And like I said, it's 3 straight now where it's just kind of been up and down for him. I know in his last one against Chicago, he only gave up 1 run, but he walked 4 in that one. And again, it was 2 runs, 1 earned, but it was just a battle for him throughout. It wasn't really clean. The time before that, 3 innings, he gave up 5 hits, 4 runs, 3 of them earned, 3 walks. So it's, again, after it looked like maybe we were figuring out who Charlie Morton was and in this year's version of him. And now it's 3 straight starts where you just kind of start to wonder who he is still and what can he be at 40 years old? Is this the guy that he is? And I don't think we know that at this point. You look at the usage today, it was 43% curveball. He just kept going to it, and he got 12 whiffs on 24 swings on that curveball. And that's why I say it's an unusual start. He had over a 30% whiff rate, so he was getting the swings and misses. I talked about this previewing this series. The Nationals don't strike out a lot. They don't make a lot of hard contact. They did today, and it's just, I hate to say it because I know this isn't great analysis, but I don't know what to make of some of these starts with Charlie Morton because you see all the swings and misses. You see some weak contact, but you also saw some really hard contact in this one as well. And if you listen to Charlie Morton's comments after the game, he talked a lot about what I've been talking about with him this year is the fact that coming into this season, you were kind of used to the Charlie Morton who, look, he may not go 7, 8 innings. He may give you 5. He may give you 6, but he's generally going to strike out 7 or 8 batters a start. And he's going to have 1 or 2 innings in there where things just kind of get away from him. He's going to walk some batters, but not give up a ton of hits. And this year, it seemed like he was switching more to a pitch to contact type of guy where he was just throwing more strikes. He was getting weak contact, not as many strikeouts. And in his post game, which you can see was tweeted out by Bally on social media, he talked about that and the fact that he doesn't know what's better. Do you go for the strikeout or do you go for the weak hit? And I understand those who say, well, why not just do both? I think you have to kind of tailor it to the lineup. The Nationals are a lineup that generally doesn't strike out a lot and they make weak contact. So maybe you do want to throw some more strikes, but after they put so many 2-out hits against you, maybe you need to change that game plan up a little bit and go for the strikeouts. It's just, I think he is caught in between, kind of like a hitter that is caught in between a fastball and a slider. I think Charlie Morton is caught in between what type of pitcher can he be? What type of pitcher should he be? You know, does he just, and this is what he talked about in his post-game interview, you know, do I go for just the 5, 6 innings of 7, 8, 9 strikeouts, or do I go for the weak contact and try to go deeper into the game and be more efficient? And what type of pitcher does he want to be? What type of pitcher can he be? And I think that's still a very big question mark right now with Charlie Morton 2 months into the season. We've seen some of both. And I don't know what the best version of Charlie Morton is at this moment. And again, it may just be dependent start to start. And that's, again, kind of what he was talking about. Sometimes he doesn't know until he gets into the outing what he has that day. Velocity was a little bit down in this one for him. So maybe he didn't quite have the strikeout stuff, although he ended up with 7 strikeouts in the game. All that said, I know some of you were probably thinking this. I know you were on social media. I was seeing it is what was he doing coming back out for the 6th inning? That was to me was a big question mark because, again, going back to Charlie Morton's post-game interview where Charlie Morton's very candid. I love, he's always very thoughtful when he speaks. And he's talked about it these last 3 outings. It's a grind. When you have a long inning like that to begin the game, it throws off everything else the rest of the way. It feels like you're playing catch up. You're just having to grind. And you've seen that these last 3 starts where he's had some trouble in the first couple of innings where he's had that one big inning. And it's just a grind for him to get through the next 5. And I felt like for this one, the fact he was able to get you through 5 innings, I thought that was a huge win. He was already at 89 pitches. I understand you're in a long stretch of consecutive games here, but I didn't understand the decision to send him back out for the 6th inning. You know, give Jesse Chavez the ball, let him throw a couple of innings, and then see what you got there. I think he could have played things out the same way and used 2 or 3 pitchers in this game. I did not understand that. It probably didn't make a difference, but I thought Charlie Morton, you know, once he got you through 5 innings, I thought that was a win in and of itself with the way that things started. So that was a bit of a questionable decision. I see people saying Charlie's 40 years old. He doesn't know what he is, still trying to figure it out. Well, he's 40. He can't be the same pitcher that he was 5 or even 6 years ago as a pitcher to stay in the game. You got to constantly be trying to figure things out and figure out what is working best for you. And he certainly seems to be doing that right now. As far as the offensive side of things, I was excited to see what this lineup looked like. You had Ozzie at the top going against a lefty. It sounds like things will probably change at the top a little bit. I would imagine Michael Harris probably gets a look in the leadoff spot when a righty is on the mound. We'll see if that means they put Ozzie in the 2-hole and then push, Riley, Ozuna, Olsen down in some sort of order there. I'm fine if they wanted to leave the middle like that, put Harris at the top and put Albies after Matt Olson. I'd be fine with that as well. But you did have Austin Riley back in there. He went over 4, no hard hits. Sean Murphy was back in there, 1 for 4 with an RBI, no hard hits from him either. Going to have to be a little bit patient with these guys. I mean, Riley was gone for 2 weeks, but didn't get a rehab assignment because he never went on the IL. So got to imagine it's going to take him a couple of games to get back up to speed. Sean Murphy's been out since opening day, but I am very excited to see what this lineup can do. Post Ronald Acuna Jr., some of these guys are going to have to step up. And again, you saw them kind of explode late in this game. Got a 4-run 7th inning to cut the lead in half. Had opportunity to do more. Big double play hit into by Ozzie Albies. But again, I know the offense has been struggling. I know it's rough. Ronald's not in there now, but I am excited to see where this offense goes now that you got Riley and Murphy back in there. I think there are obviously, hopefully, better days ahead. And again, it's a game where they scored 4 runs. And with the way the pitching has generally been, you feel like that's going to give you a chance. I know it all came in 1 inning, and they were pretty much lifeless before that. And, never know how things change differently if it were a tighter game pitching-wise for the Nationals. But, again, I'm encouraged, or I shouldn't say I'm encouraged. I'm excited. I want to see what this lineup looks like and how Snitker and Alex Anthopoulos kind of work things out. We'll talk more about that and the moves that were made. JP Martinez called up instead of Forrest Wall. I'm going to get to that later in the podcast. But next, I want to turn our attention to the minor league level where the Braves are building a pitching factory. They have a ton of really good pitching prospects. And I think that's going to be very crucial and important for what's going to happen next for this Atlanta Braves team. We'll get into all of that after this break. With Stitch Fix, you get a stylist who understands your style, size, and budget. They do all the shopping for you. It's the easiest way to update your wardrobe this season. I am wearing a nice shirt right now that I got off of Stitch Fix. I'm pretty much wearing everything these days from Stitch Fix. I'm enjoying it. I don't shop. I don't. I absolutely don't. I've been wearing the same clothes since high school. So when we partner up with Stitch Fix, my wife was super excited because she's been wanting me to redo my entire wardrobe because, like I said, been wearing the same stuff forever. And so she was super happy about this one. And it's really easy. I was a bit skeptical at first. I'm not going to lie. Look, my wife's been using Stitch Fix for years. She is a big advocate and supporter for them. But I was skeptical because my style is, kind of random and weird. I just like to feel comfortable. I don't want to wear, tight collared shirts. That's not me. But they were able to still fit my style. I was super excited and surprised with the first order that they sent me because it was exactly what I like to wear. And it fit, and it looked great, and I felt great. And again, I've been wearing pretty much Stitch Fix outfits every day now. And you can too when you use our code at stitchfix.com/MLB. It's not a code. Just go to the link, stitchfix.com/MLB, and you'll get $20 off your first fix. Stitch Fix. It makes it all easy. I don't, except for the name. I get a little tongue-tied with that one, obviously. But again, it's so convenient for you. You're stylish. You just pick in what you like. Your stylist is going to pick it out for you, send it to you. You try it on, keep what you like, send the rest of it back. It's super easy and convenient for those of you who don't like to shop, but you need to update that wardrobe just like I did. Make sure that you try Stitch Fix today. Again, that's stitchfix.com/MLB for $20 off. Stitchfix.com/MLB. Must redeem within 7 days of sign up. You like to watch sports on your TV all day in the background while you work like I do, but you just can't stand the people over at Fox Sports, ESPN, not them individually, but just their TV personalities. It's loud. It's obnoxious. I get it. Make the switch to Locked On Sports Today, a free 24/7 sports streaming channel program for you every day to bring you the biggest stories without all the nonsense. Locked On Sports Today brings you can't-miss analysis, opinions, and news, streaming 24/7 on YouTube, the free Amazon Fire TV channels app, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Excited about the rest of this week and going forward. I got some really good stuff cooked up for the podcast. I'm going to do a podcast tomorrow looking at some of the MLB draft prospects I saw at Hoover at the SEC tournament. So that's going to be fun. We're going to really ramp up our draft coverage here starting in June. We're also going to get into some mock trades starting in June. We'll have an Around the League episode this week, as we always do. And then, of course, we'll have our mailbag episode this week as well. So that's what else is coming your way the rest of this week. It is a Minors Monday segment, so we'll get into the prospect side of things. We'll start with the top prospects. AJ Smith-Shawver on the injured list, unfortunately. Had a, I was a very encouraging start, I thought, at the big league level. Was hopeful maybe he was going to get another turn to the rotation and maybe, stick things out for a little while, see what he can do. But unfortunately, he is on the injured list and going to be out for a little while here. So that's unfortunate for AJ Smith-Shawver. Hurston Waldrop, 6 1/3, 4 hits, 1 walk, no earned, and 8 strikeouts last week, although he is pitching on a Monday night. And last I saw, he had struck out 5 batters through 2 innings. But we'll take a look real quick to see how he finished that outing because, who knows with the way things are going with the Braves rotation. I would not be surprised if Hurston Waldrop gets a shot at some point this year. He finished Monday night's game, 5 innings, 6 hits, 2 walks, 2 earned, 7 strikeouts. So pretty solid. He's been much better here as of late. And again, I said at the beginning of the year, I thought there was a chance Waldrop in the second half, really had a chance to come up if he showed improvement. And he seems to be doing that to come up and get a chance in the rotation. Spencer Schwellenbach might as well. I mean, he has been fantastic. His last start, 7 innings, 2 hits, no walks, no earned, and 8 strikeouts. He has been outstanding all year long. Owen Murphy didn't pitch this last week, maybe just limiting his innings a little bit. Haven't heard much about that. Hopefully it's nothing serious there. Nacho Alvarez, 10 hits this past week. That's great. 1 extra base hit. You're just still not seeing that power from Nacho Alvarez, unfortunately, at this point. He also had 1 walk to 3 strikeouts and 3 stolen bases. Cade Keeler off to a bit of a rough start this year. 4 innings, 3 hits, no walks, 2 earned, 3 strikeouts for him this past week. Drew Hackenberg has gotten things going here as of late. 7 innings, 1 hit, 2 walks, no earned, and 8 strikeouts in his last outing. Again, just part of that pitching depth I'm going to talk about here in a second. But we're going to go through each level really quick. Gwinnett, Yuli Gurriel, 7 for 15. I wrote down 22 doubles, but that cannot be correct. But also 3 walks. He's been really good. Taylor Widener, 5 innings, 3 hits, 1 walk, no earned, 6 strikeouts. He's somebody that I thought in spring training, if they needed somebody for that long reliever role, that Jesse Chavez type role, that Jackson Stevens type role, I think that's where Taylor Widener is. But he's also somebody that has starting experience if the Braves, needed to. I think Taylor Widener, Zach Logue is somebody else that, might get a chance at some point. Ben Bowden, 3 innings, 2 hits, 1 walk, no earned, 5 strikeouts. Dylan Dodd, 5 innings, 6 hits, no walks, 2 earned, 3 strikeouts. Ken Giles, 2 innings, no hits, 1 walk, no earned, and 3 strikeouts. Grant Holmes, they've really started to increase his innings as well. 4 innings, 1 hit, 1 walk, no earned, and 3 strikeouts. Ian Mejia, who's been great all year at AA, they moved him up to AAA for just 1 start, transferred him back. An inning and a third, 5 hits, 3 walks, 5 earned, and just 1 strikeout. Did not go well for him, following up his 7 no-hit innings last time out in Mississippi, but still been a fantastic year for him. At Mississippi, Drake Baldwin was 7 for 24 with a double, 5 walks to 4 strikeouts. He got off to a slow start, but it's been much better in the last month. Cal Conley, 7 for 19, 4 doubles, 2 walks, 1 stolen base. Hayden Harris, 1.2 innings pitched, 1 hit, no walks, no earned, 5 strikeouts. He has been unbelievable, and he's somebody I watched in spring training. I was not impressed, but the results have certainly been there, at least at the minor league level. In Rome, Sabine Ceballos, 8 for 23, a double, and 3 walks. Good to see him get it going. I was really excited about him coming into this season. Lucas Braun, here's your shout out, Jeffrey Humphreys, who I know is a big fan of Lucas Braun. 7 innings, 4 hits, 1 walk, no earned, 7 strikeouts. Mitch Ferris, 6 innings, 4 hits, no walks, no earned, 5 strikeouts. Riley Frey, 6 innings, 3 hits, 2 walks, no earned, and 3 strikeouts. And then at Augusta, Drew Compton, 5 for 16 with a double and a walk this past week. Luis Vargas, 5 innings, 2 hits, 1 walk, 2 earned, 12 strikeouts. And then Didier Fuentes, 5 innings, 5 hits, no walks, 2 earned, and 11 strikeouts. So some big strikeout numbers there at Augusta. And then finally at the FCL level, John Hill, 8 for 24 doubles, 2 walks, 2 stolen bases. And Mario Baez, 7 for 21, 2 doubles, 7 RBI, 2 walks, and 3 stolen bases. Those are the 2 guys right now to watch in my mind at the FCL level. You have Jeremy Reyes pitching as well. Kadon Morton just got called up to Augusta. He is converting to a pitcher from a position player. But those are the kind of the guys to watch the FCL levels. We still haven't seen Luis Guanipa yet, and Jose Perdomo is on the IL. But I want to talk for just a second about the pitching factory that the Braves are developing right now, because they have, made it a point, and it's it's not a secret. The Braves draft pitchers. I mean, they do, especially early in rounds. They are pitcher heavy. And a lot of people have questioned that strategy. Do they need to go after some more hitters? Because there's just not a lot of hitters in this system. I have maintained, I believe it is the smart thing to do. And here's why, and I think you're about to see why. You need as many pitchers as possible to get through a season. And to do that, you can't always count on external pitchers to come in and get things done. You need to be able to have a slew of guys in your farm system that can come up to help you get through 162. Maybe you don't like these names. Maybe these aren't what you're hoping for. But I'm talking about a Dylan Dodd, a Darius Vines, guys who can come up. And I get it. They're back-end starters. It's nothing spectacular. But guys that can come up and give you a chance to win sometimes, at least in good matchups. You have to continually have guys like that to help you get through 162. And you have to consistently have arms that are ready to come up and contribute. And hopefully 1 or 2 of those hits it, and it turns into a Michael Soroka, an Ian Anderson, a Spencer Strider. Hopefully it turns into a top of the rotation guy, or at least a mid-rotation type of guy. And the Braves have had some success with that. But even more importantly than that, for me, it's having just a deep rotation of arms that can come up and give you innings. And even more than that, and this is kind of the point I'm getting to, because I know we're all looking, I'm seeing the comments section, people are talking about, Rooker, you're talking about Taylor Ward, you're talking about pitchers who maybe the Braves could trade for. The only way the Braves have been able to do that is because they continue to stockpile pitching. Every team needs starting pitching, especially in today's environment where pitchers are they are going down at a higher rate than ever. You just have to have a consistent stream of arms ready to come up and come through. Now, for the Braves, they're fortunate in the fact that all their position players are pretty much locked up. Maybe you're not happy with those position players at the moment, but they're pretty much settled in the lineup. So they can kind of take that risk to continually just draft pitchers, develop pitchers. But if they needed to trade for a bat, guess what? They have something that everybody needs in starting pitching. And I look at what's happened so far this year, and it's just 2 months into the minor league season, but I mean, it has been just absolutely tremendous what they've been able to do. I took this tweet from Garrett Spain, who is, if you're not following him on social media for Braves prospects, I don't know what you're doing. They also have a great podcast going on that's covering the Braves minor league system, the Peach State Prospects podcast, I believe is what it's called. Hopefully I got that right. Peach State Pros is what it's called officially. Last 2 trips for the M-Braves, Big 3, Ian Mejia, 5 2/3, no runs, 9 strikeouts. Hurston Waldrop, 8 innings, 1 run, 8 Ks. Schwellenbach, 6 innings, no runs, 9 Ks. Mejia, 7 innings, no hits, no runs, 11 Ks. Waldrop, 6 1/3, no runs, 8 Ks. Schwellenbach, 7 inning, no runs, 8 Ks. That was sent out on May 22nd. It's just, you have Owen Murphy as well. J.R. Ritchie, I was super impressed with him last year before he got injured. It's just so many arms that the Braves have. Carlos Lara, I know he's been off to a slow start, but a big arm. Jeremy Reyes that I just mentioned, a guy at the FCL level, has looked really good. Didier Fuentes, a guy that keeps coming up in our Minors Monday segment. There's just so many arms in this system. And again, yeah, maybe not all of them hit and come up and be, big time arms at the start of your rotation, but these are also pieces that you can move to go get a bat. at the deadline if you need to go get that, to go get an arm at the deadline if you need to go get that. Everybody is looking for starting pitching. So when you continually just have this horde of starting pitching in your minor league level and they're performing like they are right now, it just gives you even more value to make moves, to make upgrades where you need to. So that's why it's just so important to continually draft and develop these arms. The Braves are doing it as good, if not better, than anybody out there. All right, next we'll turn our attention to a little bit of news and Tuesday's game where Max Fried will be on the mound looking to even up this series at home against the Nationals. We'll discuss that here next. Game Time is the quickest and easiest way to get your sports tickets for events, music, comedy, theater, whatever it is near you, whatever you're going to, Braves games. I'm sorry if you went to that game on Memorial Day, but hopefully you got a good deal on Game Time, and hopefully you still enjoyed yourself. But you shouldn't have to worry about the stress of buying tickets. You don't with Game Time. Trust me. I only use Game Time now when I'm going to Braves games because you can get last minute deals. And, I live far away. It's a bit of a drive for me to come to Atlanta and go to a game. And, it's nice to know that I can still get tickets last minute when I make that decision that, okay, wife gives me the approval. We're ready to go. I can look at Game Time last minute and sometimes get up to 60% off or save up to 60% on those Braves tickets. But it's not just Braves tickets. You can get tickets to anything on Game Time, concerts, comedy, theater, etc. near you. A couple of things I really appreciate about the Game Time app. First one is all-in prices. Right from the beginning what you're going to be paying. I cannot stand other ticket sites that I don't even go to anymore. I don't even bother looking at because you see a price up there. You think maybe you got a good deal. You get to check out all these fees come in. Up front with Game Time. The other thing is the view from your seat. Don't buy a ticket unless you know what your view is going to look like. And you can see that right in the Game Time app. So make sure you download the Game Time app today. Use our code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. That's LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. So a lot of transactions happening on Monday, obviously with the Ronald Acuna Jr. news, Sean Murphy coming back, Austin Riley back. The Braves reinstated Sean Murphy from the injured list. Acuna was placed on the 10-day IL. I'm not necessarily sure why he wasn't put on the 60-day IL to open up a roster spot. If you know, let me know down in the comments section below. They recalled JP Martinez. So this instantly told me, and I posted this on X as soon as I saw it. This means they're going with Jared Kelenic and Adam Duvall in outfield pretty much every day. And that's fine. And I figured that's the way things were probably going to go. I kind of hate it for Forrest Wall. I mean, again, I'm not saying I think the guy's going to come up and light the world on fire or anything, but what else can he do to prove that he deserves an opportunity at this point? It's going to take essentially another injury at this point, or somebody just Duvall or Kelenic falling on their face. And I don't want either one of those things to happen, but I wouldn't mind seeing Forrest Wall get a chance to get an opportunity. I think the guys deserved it. I think he could be okay. I mean, it's a good speed option. If he hits anything like he has at AAA, which again, there's no guarantee that's going to happen. I just feel like he could be, a good addition to this team. Now that said, Adam Duvall has hit, a bunch of home runs here lately, hit another one on Monday. So, and the Braves love Adam Duvall. Like I've never been in love with Adam Duvall as much as some other fans are, and certainly not as much as the Braves are. I do like having him because I think he's great depth for times like this. And I think he can give you some big moments here and there. But again, I'm more so I'm not upset at all with the decision that they've made to just, go with Duvall and Kelenic. But I just kind of feel on a personal level, I guess, for Forrest Wall, because it felt like maybe this is a chance for him to get that opportunity. And looks like that's not going to be the case, at least not now. So they call up JP Martinez instead, another left-handed bat. I don't know what kind of opportunities he's going to get. But we'll see. They DFA'd Joey Wendell. We hardly knew ya. They kept Chadwick Trump on this roster. So they're carrying 3 catchers. I'm wondering if that means we might see Marcell Ozuna in the outfield some, and you put one of the catchers at the DH spot. Maybe that happens against some lefties, and they still sit Jared Kelenic in those situations. We'll have to see how that plays out, but that could be an option now that you have 3 catchers on the roster. So that's something definitely to look out for going forward. Tuesday's preview, you got Max Fried versus Jake Irvin. Max Fried would love another complete game. He's already done that twice this year. Certainly need it after what happened on Monday. You need somebody to give you some length and not give up 4 runs in the first inning would be preferable. This Nat team, talk about it, they put the ball in play. We know Max Fried is a pitch-to-contact pitcher. You're going to need good defense. You're going to need some batted ball luck behind him. Hopefully he gets that, as Charlie Morton certainly did not get that on Monday. As for Jake Irvin, he throws strikes, a 280 expected batting average this year, a 10.2% barrel rate against, and just a 19% strikeout rate. It should be a matchup for this Braves offense to really do work. It's a 4-seam fastball at 94 miles per hour. Throws a curve with that as well. Both of those are 2 most used pitches. He'll throw a sinker to righties, a cutter in on lefties. Beware of that against Matt Olson. He's really struggled lately against cutters in to him. So that's something to keep an eye on. But again, it's a pitcher that gives the Braves an opportunity, their offense an opportunity to really do some damage, put up some work, and you need to after what happened on Monday. All right, that will do it for this episode of Locked On Braves. Thank you so much for joining me. We got Mass Boostin here, Carlos Paulino, Vision Music, Wind Gracer, Jeffrey Humphreys made it, Wed on the base. Everybody here at the end still having some great conversations. Thank you so much for that. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube if you're new. Hit that thumbs up button. Make sure that you follow us on social media at shortstopball, at LockedOn_Braves. Make sure that you rate, review, and subscribe to the Locked On Braves podcast wherever you get your podcast. And we will talk to you next time.